Right now, while I'm filming my video, my system is sending personalized emails to HVAC companies and plumbing companies in Montgomery, Alabama. Every email is specific to that business and sends them three things about their business that will come through in that email. And it's telling them everything that's causing the money leak in their business. So every email has a dollar figure that tells them exactly how much money is leaking out of their business and what that looks like in terms of monthly revenue. So I did not write any of these emails because I plugged in templates that pulls over custom variables into the email templates themselves. I built all of this using Base 44 and no code, not a single line of code for me. Now, I do not have a background in coding, but I want to show you exactly how I built this system and what were some of the things that I needed to put into Base 44 to make it happen, and most importantly, what I learned along the way. So, if you got laid off and you don't know what the next step in your journey is going to be, I've been there, and this video is definitely for you. And if you want to learn AI or you're pivoting into something else, then stick around because I've also got something for you as well. And then lastly, if you are a service-based business and you're looking for more leads, you're looking for a better way to follow up, then I've also got something for you too. So let's get into it. Now, I want to talk about why I built Launch Signal Pro because it's not just a product, it's the answer to a problem that I've been living with for years. I was laid off in March of 2025. I have a master's degree. I was in law school before we moved, and I also am a certified project manager. I spent over a year applying to jobs and I could not get hired for the life of me. That was the longest period that I had ever gone without working. And I want to be honest with you, it was definitely one of the lowest points in my life. I felt absolutely worthless and I felt lost. And we do everything that, they tell us to do. And I felt like I did. I went to college. I got the degree. I got the good job, but none of it prepared me for what happens when the job disappears and it's literally impossible to get back into the workforce. So I battled with depression, watching my savings drop, and I knew I had to do something differently. So I started helping businesses with websites, building courses for coaches and funnels, and landing pages as well. And so that turned into like a real business. But as it grew, I kept hitting the same wall that I hit in every business, and it really was in the follow up. And so I've done various things in real estate, and bought leads. I've done it all. Spent money on ads, you name it. And what I would do is I would call, reach out to a lead. I would put them on sticky notes. I would try to put it in my CRM, and I would forget to update the notes and just all these things. And it was so annoying. And so I just decided that, I'm literally buying expensive CRMs. I'm flushing money down the toilet buying leads. And then I also have ADHD. So it makes it really hard to just kind of stick to something, be consistent. But when I'm motivated, I can literally work for hours. So I, just I will find every excuse to not do a task that way when I'm not motivated. So it just wasn't really working out for me. But follow up was always the task that I avoided. So I started asking, you know, what if I just build something that does it for me automatically? And I discovered Base 44. So I got the free version. I had the idea that, I'll just jump right in head first. And that's exactly what I did. I did no research at all. And I built most of Launch Signal Pro within a week's time. And from that point, I just was doing a lot of refinements over the time until I moved from Japan and then to now being in Thailand. So, I'm married, I have a 2-year-old, I have a 15-year-old, and we're trying to manage a business, and as you can imagine, it's really stressful. And I thought that now that I have the more time and space to kind of think and do what I need to do, so I really honed in on the refinements of Launch Signal Pro. But I want to talk a little bit about what this channel will be about and who this video is for. So I've run businesses, I've worked full time, I've done it all like at the same time, but never one by itself. And so now that I'm trying to build a business and solely focus on that, I can tell you that there are people that they're also building in the margins. And so this channel, this video is definitely, if you have a family, you have kids, all that, this is for you. But I do want to talk about two things that stuck with me in reading a book called The Millionaire Fast Lane. And one is, if a company built the hub and you're just the distribution, then you go build, you know, your own hub. So I thought, I want to build my own hub. I don't want to be part of a distribution. And the thing about being a part of someone else's distribution is that they can change the rules at any time. They can decide that they're only going to give you so much, or they're only going to give you this, or they're only going to allow you to do that, whatever. Same thing with a job. They can change their mind at any time and get rid of you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I decided I'm going to build my own hub, and that's exactly what I did with Launch Signal Pro. So the other thing that I learned from the Millionaire Fastlane is that you can either decide to sell a million things at $1, or you can decide to only sell 1,000 things at $1,000. So I'm going to go with the latter because it's just easy math. And that's exactly why I built Launch Signal Pro. Not because I had a grand startup vision, but it's because I needed to solve a problem in my own business. And I figured if I had this problem, other people did too. So we'll get into it. Okay guys, so here is Launch Signal Pro. This is what I built. So I'm going to show you around a little bit, but the concept is simple. This is, to help local businesses such as plumbers, HVAC companies, tree services, roofers, and that's because they all have the same problem. So their website is losing them calls, and they don't even know about it. Now, when a call goes to voicemail because tree trimmer's up in the tree, plumber's under the sink, whatever, what is their actual follow-up process, if they even have one, besides the calls just go to voicemail? And that is if the person chooses to leave a voicemail in this day and age. So that is considered a money leak, and that is exactly what Launch Signal Pro identifies. And on top of that, since most of them don't even know that this is truly a money leak, they just think that's how typical businesses run. But I'm going to show you how this system actually works. So this right here is the dashboard. And what I'm going to do is open up a lead and let you see what that looks like. So here is the list of leads that are currently in the CRM here. And I'm going to open this up so you can see what the lead record looks like. So this is what it looks like, and what we're going to do is run the audit. It automatically ran it, but I'm going to run this as the actual process just so you can see what this looks like. So essentially what I've already done here is I just entered in their business name. You can do mass imports here, but I entered in this individual lead, and I'm putting in my email address because this is for a test, just to show you how this works. So the system goes out and looks at the business's website, and the website is here. So let's go into the audit record itself and move myself out of the way. Okay, so this is the audit record here, and we're going to go ahead and rerun the audit, but it has the website link here, and then all of this information, we'll get into it in a minute, but I'm going to refresh this audit real quick. So the system looks at their homepage, their Google presence, it's looking for trust signals, and then it comes back with specific findings related to their business. So it isn't something that's generic. Now, the AI agent is looking at this through the lens of somebody who is ready to hire this company. So it's scoring it across 5 categories, identifying the 3 highest impact gaps, and these are the things that are the most meaningful to the business. So once they read this information in the email, the 3 insights, then they will immediately be able to connect that and say, oh, okay, I see exactly what they're explaining here. Okay, so as I mentioned, it talks about 5 different categories in this report. This is very lengthy. It's in consultant speak in this area here. So I'm going to switch over to the PDF version because it's a little more what the actual client will see and not necessarily in consultant speak. Now the agent that I put in here for outreach generator and basically analyzing everything that comes from the audit itself and then translating that into like industry speak still has a lot of learning to do. But anyway, it has their name, email, or website address, business type, the date that the audit was run. So it gives them the bottom line up front, identifying what are the things that we've seen that are impacting them getting more calls, more leads, making more money. So it breaks down, where the jobs are going, trust gaps, conversion gaps. And then I'm going to go down to the revenue section here because this is going to show what this is actually costing them. So as you can see, it mentions some things about not showing up on Google, talks about their Google business profile, testimonials, no way to capture leads. Okay, so now we're in the revenue section here. This talks about what are they actually losing, and this number is calculated. These are not generic estimates. These are based on HVAC benchmarks for Alabama. So they're adjusted for the local market. This is by average job value, typical close rate, leads per month, all that good stuff. So you'll see that in here. So the system does the math, it outputs a specific dollar figure, and so that's the number that makes someone stop in their tracks and actually read the email, which I'll show you the email copy in a bit here. But what we'll go ahead and do is I'm going to close this out, and then we're going to send this audit. So we're going to send it out using Instantly because that's our integration. And then this gives you a preview here. So these are the exact variables that are going to be in this email. So it's pulling out these 3 specific insights from the audit, and it has changed the way that the messaging is. And then, it has their industry name and everything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click send, and then this is going to go into Instantly. So we have another screen that kind of tracks what the status is once we're dealing in Instantly. So it shows, okay, sent to Instantly, and it shows, a preview of what that email looks like. And then so the next thing is just showing you what the test email looks like, or it's the actual email, but test email for this purpose. And showing you what it actually looks like, what they would receive. So I'm going to see if, because I have to schedule emails, and I could just do a preview too. So let's see if we can do that instead. Sequences here, and then we're just going to do a preview, and then we are going to find that lead. So that's like our very first lead. Okay, so this is a different example, but it just kind of gives you an idea of what the variables are that are crossing over into the email itself. So it just says, hey, we looked at your website. Here are some of the things that we're finding. And then we talk about how much that's costing them by not fixing these issues. So then we're just like, hey, can we send a quick video explaining what we found and, where we would start first, all free. So then they can say yes, no, not respond, whatever the case is. But that is how this process works. So we didn't have to sit down and write these emails by hand. The system did it automatically, instantly handles the follow-up from the 5 automated emails. This is going to be over a 12-day period. So if they never reply, then they're going to move to a monthly drip. And if they do reply, then Zapier fires off an automatic reply email to them, so that way they know that we got their email. So they're being acknowledged. And this is all happening even while I'm asleep in Thailand, 11 hours difference. So Plummer and Montgomery gets a response immediately, and that's the system. All right, so let's get into the part about the agents. This part is really exciting for me because this is like the brain of the operation. So I want to talk about the intelligence behind how Launch Signal Pro works, because this isn't just a simple mail merge. Now there's a lot of real decision making that's happening behind the scenes, and when you're looking at how these agents pretty much talk to each other in terms of the audit process and how all the information filters through to each individual agent, and they all have roles, and how they're handling the information to then assimilate everything into one output. Okay, so looking at this diagram here, you've got your input, which is the business website. So we need a website in order for the audit to begin to generate findings. And so Agent 1 does their analysis and they score the website looking at, okay, when a person comes to the website, what are they thinking? Are they thinking, oh, this business does or provides the service that I need? Good example, landscaping company. You come up on the website, it's a nice picture of a yard, but it doesn't say anything about doing backyard landscaping, pool remodels, or anything like that to make an oasis in the backyard. So a person who's looking for an expensive project like that, they may not even reach out to a company that's just showing a lawn on their website. However, inversely, if say someone comes up on a really nice website where the backyard is decked out, there's a waterfall coming off the pool, and they've got lighted paths in the backyard, leading up to the pool. A person who just needs their grass mowed to get the HOA off their back, you're probably not going to call them, and that's good. You want to make sure that your messaging is communicating to the right types of clients, so that way they can find you, and you get to help them. Win-win. Okay, so Agent 2, they're looking at how they're going to communicate this information out based on the industry. So they rank the top 3 things that are probably having, or I shouldn't say probably, that are having the highest impact on the business, and then that's going to get pushed through to the email template. That's one of the custom variables that we built into the template, so that way it will feed into instantly, and that email is the one that our cold outreach is going to receive. Okay, so the last thing is the consequence generation prompt, and this is the thing that really makes the copy of this email hit differently than just some generic template that you can get from anywhere, because people, they think in terms of what they're losing and not what they're gaining. So if you can figure out a way to show them, hey, the business down the street is ranking number 1 on Google. You're ranking number 10 on Google. So let's move away from them and now focus on you. So all of the business that you could be getting, you're losing it to your number 1 competitor because they're showing up more highly on Google than you are. Then we're looking at, okay, what are the factors that are actually affecting your ranking? Is it your Google business profile is not optimized, meaning it's marketing speak, but it means this. Do you even update or touch your Google business profile? Is everything updated? Do you have good keywords on there for SEO purposes? There's a ton of things that I could talk about that I'm not going to get into here. But the consequence generation prompt, it is pulling all of those things out to make it very real to the cold prospect that, ooh, if I don't fix these problems, I'm going to keep losing. People don't like losing. They want to win. Okay. last part is the instantly section here. So they've got, we've got the custom variables. It comes through into instantly. Instantly is going to push out this personalized cold email, and that process is going to happen automatically because we have a email sequence. So we've already got everything set up in terms of, okay, it's going to send an email, day 1, day 3, day, whatever. And then after it has gone through the entire process for that sequence, then it will move into the subsequences, which are the monthly drips. And so that's pretty much how all of this works. Like I said, I can go into a lot more, but AI it can seem like it's magic, but if you don't give it good direction, it is going to give you very generic stuff. And so it's really important to train your agents, because I trained it exactly on how I think when I do audit a website, the things that I'm looking for when I'm doing an audit by hand. And obviously I'm not sharing the exact prompts here because that's IP of Launch Signal Pro, but the free playbook does give in great detail the framework for building agents with this level of specificity. So it gives you a lot of anchors to think about when you are prompting you're building your agent, the types of prompts that you want to build, the level of detail you want to give it, giving it examples, and a host of other things. So that's all I have to say about building agents while using Base 44. All right, so I want to talk about 3 things that I learned while building Launch Signal Pro. First lesson should be very obvious, but it wasn't obvious to my ADHD brain. I just wanted to jump right in, but having an outline is going to be really important. Here's why. You want to be able to build cleanly from the start. And if you ever think about, you want to have a developer maybe come in later to really make some very heavy refinements, make your software more technical than what it might be now, that's going to be really important. You want somebody to come in, they can make sense of what it is that you already have and can clean that up. Messy code is obviously going to be a problem down the line, but if that's not the path that you're going on, then you can disregard that. But just something to think about. The last thing is really expansion itself. So if you are deciding now, I want to build an app or software that I want to sell to other people, but I actually want to make it an entire business, then you are going to want to think about expansion from day one, meaning I need to make this as clean as possible so that someone else can come in behind me and make this a more finished product. So that's going to be really important to think about. Then I would say the second lesson is building with agents, and not only building with agents, but building agents that have skills. Now, not only do the skills need to just be a skill, but it needs to be very specific and highly specialized. So I built agents within Launch Signal Pro, a couple of agents. I have a audit analyzer where it does that specific function. I have another one that does outreach generation. It does that specific function. But you have to highly train these agents with those areas of expertise so that the output function is a lot more refined and it gives you very specific outputs and not generic outputs. So it kind of works like put generic in, generic comes out. You put specific and refined info in, it gives you specific refined output. So think about that. It's really important to have something that's specific versus generic, depending on, again, how complex your software or app is. And the last thing that I would add to that you really want to think about is when you do give an instructions, you want to be very specific about what a good example looks like and what a not good example looks like. So give it actual examples of, I want you to say this, I do not want you to say that. You may even want to get as specific as, do not use these types of words or phrases, use only these types of words or phrases. Again, that's very specific to what it is that you're building, but just keep that in mind. Along with voice rules, if you have anything along the lines of tone, like you wanted to write in your tone or something like that, you have to give it input to learn to then know what your tone even is. Okay, the last lesson. don't overcomplicate it, not if you don't have to. Now, again, if you don't even know what you're building, you are definitely going to have to start with market research, my friends. I would say don't skip that. But if you do have a specific use case, then go ahead, jump into it, go for it. And if you have your outline, you know how you want it to function, you know how you want it to look, then you're golden. But you don't need anything that's super complicated in order to, one, make it work, and two, make money off of it. So just keep that in mind. But if you like complexity like I do, then just get ready because it is a journey, but it is a journey that's very well worth it. I built this without writing a single line of traditional code, no venture capital, no technical co-founder, no computer science degree, even though all those things are great, they're fine. But I knew I just had a problem that was worth solving, and Base 44 allowed me to build that tool so that I could do just that. And my ADHD hyperfocus allowed me to just really dig in and to stay in the chair to make sure that this was not only just a pretty product, but it's something that functions and it actually works. If you're transitioning out of the workplace and you don't know what your next move is going to be, trust me, I've been there before. I know that there's a lot of uncertainty, and sometimes the next step in your path is not always obvious. But what I do want to say is that using tools like Base 44 today, the barrier has never been lower. And to actually be able to bring an idea out of your mind and turn it into a real live functioning product that you can make money off of, it's not something to be taken lightly. But you don't even know, or you don't even need to know how to code. You don't need venture capital. You don't need a technical co-founder. You don't need any of those things. So it is definitely a time to be alive. Now, I will say this: if you are interested in building something like this yourself, then I did build a free playbook. So you just can comment Base 44 down below, and I'll go ahead and send that playbook to you for free. And the link for the playbook is also in the description down below. And if you are a local service business watching this video, so you may be a plumber, HVAC company, landscaper, roofer, anything like that, then this is no pitch. But if you're interested in getting your own business audited, then just comment audit down below and I'll reach out to you as well. And you get to see exactly how Launch Signal Pro will work on your business and what those outputs are that the AI agent is generating. And lastly, if you want to try the software out for yourself, then you can go to www.launchsignalpro.com and you can use it on a 7-day free trial. I'd love to hear what your comments are on using the software, so you can come back to this video and comment down below. And the link to the website is also in the description down below. And so I will be talking in the next video about what the tech stack looks like in building Launch Signal Pro and a little bit about what it looks like under the hood. So if you're interested in that, subscribe so you don't miss it. But until next time, please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you in the next video.